27 million Canadians were eligible to vote in yesterday's election, but ballots were also being cast by more than 700,000 kids right across the country. They voted in a mock election. All right, so we have the results of that. A minority Liberal government with 116 seats. Well, that sounds familiar, but they also chose an NDP opposition, giving that party 106 seats. Mary Pownell is a grade 11 student in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. There she is. And Jennifer Key is a high school teacher in Whitecourt, Alberta. Good afternoon to both of you. Thanks very much for talking us through this. And Mary, I want to start with you. Why was it important for you to vote yesterday, even though it wasn't a vote that counted?
It was really important for us because it's teaching us that even though they don't count right now, once we turn 18, we will know how to go through and pick a politician and candidate that we support and how to properly cast a ballot.
And Jennifer, I mean, just the sheer numbers here. You don't have the backing of Elections Canada to do this, presumably. So 700,000 students voting in this. It's a mammoth effort, but clearly one you feel is important.
Yeah, I'm really, really passionate about student vote and the work that civics does. It's so important to get the youth involved in our democratic process and get comfortable with it, and so that they know how it works and that it is actually quite easy to become an educated voter and work their way through the process, and it becomes a habit, so that habit stays with them as they become tax-paying adults.
All right, Mary, so walk me through the process. I think some people, when they go and vote, they always vote for the same person or the same party. Some people really engage and take a look at the issues and what their particular candidate thinks. What did you do?
So what we did is during the first week of school, my teacher came up and we started finding people that wanted to help out with student vote. And once we got our team together, we contacted each of the candidates from our riding, and we held a virtual town hall at our school. Mm-hmm. And so we had moderators and all the candidates show up on a Google Meet, and they talked to us about what their plan was, what they were going to do, and we even had a chance to ask them questions from the students. And then once that was over, the next day, we went through and we signed all the ballots that needed, and we set up to have our mock election. And we called down all the grades and gave them their ballot and told them how to, where they had to go behind the voting screens, fill out their ballot, and go and hand it in. It was an awesome experience.
Well, what was the biggest issue for you, Mary? What was the sort of thing that was most front of mind for you?
It was really how crunched for time we were because of how close the election was to the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. And so it was just trying to get everything organized, getting in contact.
What about, I just want to interrupt you just for a second to ask you, in terms of issues politically, like what was the biggest issue when you were looking at, who to give your vote to? Was there a particular issue that really made the difference?
Well, I really looked into who related more to the youth, and so when looking at it, there was some of them, and they were using they were using their voices and their words that they would use to talk to adults, but we are all young adults and not there yet, so it was really confusing for some of them, but some of them really related with the high school students.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Jennifer, just to, walk me through this, because there is a challenge with younger voters who are eligible to vote. The challenge is that it's one of the lowest demographics in terms of voter participation. I'm making the assumption that this effort is attempting to be an antidote to that.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that through student vote and through the work that civics do, we're teaching and helping young people become comfortable with the process and how they can become informed. And so if they become used to the process, it just becomes very natural. I've had many students former students who wait for me on voting day so that we can go together. And we kind of just go in a little caravan all the way down to the polling station. And it's kind of their tradition on election day. So the work that Student Vote does is it's based around the belief that voting is a habit and becoming involved in being civic minded is a habit. And the more you practice it, whether it's through mock election or just voting in classroom on classroom issues, it becomes bigger for students, and it's just something that they innately care about and want to continue doing when they are adults at voting age.
Okay, so Mary, you're grade 11, so are you 16 years old?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you can work legally, really right across this country. Do you think you should be able to vote legally, because you can't before you're 18 right now?
I think by the time 16, 17 is when you really start to get like understanding. Wow, I'm going to be an adult soon. I should probably start looking into what is happening in the world. And so, yeah, I think around 16, 17, we should be able to actually cast a proper ballot, because it's also going to be this is our world we're going into, and we are taking over because of like, this is the next generation, and we need a choice and like a say in what happens as well.
Was it fun?
Oh, it was so much fun.
What did you like most about it?
I personally just liked seeing everyone come down and fill out their ballot and put it in, and like see how people actually wanted to cast a ballot at the school.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And to do it so quickly after the start of the school year, like many adults were already, starting to think about the election before it was called, and then only a 5-week campaign, you start school and you're right into it. So I guess the next election is probably going to be, at least 18 months away, and maybe longer than that. You might be voting in that next one.
Yeah, that's really exciting for me. I'm excited to cast my first actual ballot.
All right, we'll leave it there. Jennifer, Mary, thanks so much. Really appreciate you talking about this.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.